Recording in progress.
Ten. Ja,
Afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon. Are we ready to start?
Mkhala.
Mkhala. Mkhala belegai. All right, ma. Colleagues on the platform and our visitors who are going to table before us a petition, and colleagues from Sanral. Did colleagues from Sanral join Valerie?
Yes, Chair. And just in terms of the committee membership, we are still waiting for some members to log on.
So we don't have a quorum to start?
Not yet, Chair.
You'll alert when we have.
Sure.
What you were referring to?
Honorable Montana.
Recording stopped.
I'm sent by the commissioner of SARS here.
Yeah, what is he saying? What is it given to
What
you?
our man is country Montana. You can't owe us 55 million.
Is it?
I'm hoping one time.
Did he tell you the commissioner that? Did he tell you the commissioner that he owes me 50 million as well?
Montana, do you like gambling?
Yes, did the commissioner tell you that he owes me 50 as well?
Montana, do you like gambling?
What do you mean?
It's a gamble what you are doing.
You see, mine can stand the test of time, Mr. Mbuthuma. I'm not saying the commissioner after breaking the law. He can say.
So Montana,
once I get my money from
so Montana, you
guys from the ANC you like robbing people. You like robbing people. How do you charge someone interest of 87%?
Montana, please.
Yeah? Is that how you run the country?
Montana, pay us a state. You can't owe 55 million.
I think
you have 200 million.
Let me tell you, if I get my 50 million from SARS, I'll dedicate part of the money to the N2 West Coast and help the community there.
Hey, we know.
So I'm working for the good of the people here. I'm working for the good of the people here. Done.
Montana, you are fighting with the state.
Yeah, no, the state, that is why we are receiving this petition, because the state is fighting against the people.
Hey, Maduna,
So I'm on the side
can
of
you get your members to join here? We have quorum, man. We have no time for that SARS of yours, comrades. We have chowed our money. Can you go, Maduna? Can you look for your Malamata? And when I can you look for Kubeka? They must correct him.
Let me call him.
We're not going to get our money. You have chowed it, Montana. There's nothing we can do. Call Kubeka to join the meeting.
See, but the ANC is struggling to make us the come here.
Where's
all my people are online, is it?
When we were chowing our money, where was the ANC? Why do you bring the ANC in this thing?
Well, Chair, are you there as an individual?
Where?
Are you representing your jacket?
I'm representing SARS.
Okay, this.
Hey, that Maduna must not joke with this matter of SARS. He does not understand this is a serious matter. Madun must stop joking about serious matters. Yeah. We want our money when you are joking. Are we winning?
Has Kubeka joined already?
Kubeka has joined. Thanks very much. Where's Madun?
Chairperson, in terms of procedure, are enough members to start the meeting? So you can start the meeting while the other members are joining.
Okay, thanks very much. I wanted that indication. Colleagues, good afternoon and greetings to this platform. I want to welcome our compatriots who have raised, who wants to formally table a petition before
Recording
us.
in progress.
And also to welcome our colleagues who left their tight schedule to come and join, colleagues from South African National Road Agency Limited, and also the members of the parliament, members of the portfolio, our support staff, to our petitioners. Thanks very much for being good citizens, such that you use parliament as your voice and as your ear and eyes. We welcome you, hoping that we should be able to find a way of dealing with your petition in a manner that is in the interest of yourself, in the interest of the communities you represent, and surely in the interest of the people of the Republic who has bestowed their hopes, confidence on this Parliament of the Republic in whose or on whose behalf we are acting with you as we interface with you this afternoon. We know that we are going to have a very brief meeting. It's not supposed to take long, because how we are going to handle it is that you will formally table in terms of our procedures this petition. We will not entertain it, we will note it, and from there, now that it will be on record that you formally tabled it, we'll then start the process of how we're going to be dealing with it, including having Sandral and the minister to come on board and explain to us how they are faring in relation to it, and if there are certain things that we need to do in our part, we'll then do them as we move forward towards finding a mutually beneficial conclusion or resolution of the petition. Without wasting time, I'm going to request Alma or Valerie to quickly take us through roll call and apologies. And from there, I'm going to then request the petitioners to come on board and formally table. Valerie?
Good afternoon, members, stakeholders, the department, and Sandral. Apologies were received from the minister who had a long-standing conflicting engagement, and apologies from Dr. Hunsinger and Ms. Nkopane. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. And then, be that as it may, is there any other apology I need to record, colleagues, stakeholders? Especially Sandra, is there any apology from Sandra? Ntando Maduna, Honorable Maduna?
Comrade, sorry, Honorable Malmacha will join us shortly.
Okay. No, thanks very much. I think if there is no any other hand for any other matter to note, I'm going to request that we formally receive the tabling of the petition. Who's leading is us, Valerie?
Here, Mr. Malcolm Campbell will do the presentation, and he has been given the sharing rights.
Okay, thanks very much. Mr. Campbell? Mr. Campbell?
Yes, can you hear me?
Very well, very well. Did you hear me, what I was saying?
I heard you. I heard everything you said. Thank you very much. Are you able to see? Are you able to see the presentation?
We're able to see the presentation, precisely because, for sure, you heard what I said when I was outlining the process, I suppose.
Yeah, I heard what you said, yes.
Yes, what we want you to do is, we did receive the presentation, part of your documentation, as part of your documentation. We did receive your documentation, actually. I want you to run through the presentation, emphasizing on the key areas that you think we need to note or to emphasize on, because members already have an appreciation of what petition is about, but I think there are issues that specifically you think needs to be emphasized. Like I've explained, we are going to then have to then take when it's formally tabled, to take it to Sandral and the minister to look into it and respond to us on a specific date. From there, if it warrants that we must come on site, we'll then decide to come on site, and from there we'll make recommendation on how we think the petition must be handled. But once again, to just extend our appreciation that you saw Parliament as the best tool, your ear and eyes, to resolve your petition. Over to you, my brother. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. So look, we've paginated the pages of the presentation that we're presenting. So if you have any questions, you can just make a note of the number of the slide. But just to introduce the petitioners, I'm going to hand over to Ms Mbuthuma, who's a member of the Amadiba Crisis Committee, just to do an introduction. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Malcolm. Good afternoon, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable members of the Portfolio Committee. Thank you so much for your opportunity that you give us today. My name is Ms N Mbuthuma, the spokesperson of Amadiba Crisis Committee. I'm not here alone today, Chairperson. I'm with the other members that accompany us from the community, which is Dugisa Tila, and also Maduna Joseph. He's a traditional council, and Spiwo Njangase is from Maha village. We are from different villages. Siabonga Ndovela from Mtendu, Cromwell Sonjita from Mtendu, Nomvelwano Mhlengana, she's also a traditional council, and also Twesha Slangwe from Mgungu. Those are the people that we are with them today, together with the petitioners who are submitted the petition currently before the committee. To assist in presentation, the detailed aspect of our petition, we are joined by the members of our technical team, which is Malcolm and Johan Jonas, who will take the community through the key issues and salient points of our submission. With your permission, Honorable Chair and the members, I will now hand it over to Malcolm Campbell to present the technical overview of our petition. Over to you, Malcolm.
Thank you very much, Nonhle. So just briefly to introduce the technical team, it's a multidisciplinary team consisting in the main of what we call friendly consulting engineers. They prefer to remain anonymous given that they do not want to prejudice their relationship with SANRAL. And then I'm a development planner. We have a land governance specialist, a town and regional planner, Johan Jonas, who will be assisting me with a presentation, an economist, 2 legal specialists, and then, of course, Nonhle as an ecotourism specialist for the area. We were commissioned in 2021 to assist the Amadiba Crisis Committee, particularly in exploring options for alternative inland route to the proposed SANRAL route. Our team came up with 3 options, of which one was eventually identified as the option we would like to promote. In terms of the content and the form of this presentation, we will just want to start off by highlighting why we feel a midterm review is necessary, and then extracting from our petition what our key motivations are to support this. We would then like to just set out the context for the end to Wild Coast Highway, and then deal with our major concerns, which relates to the environment and the recommendations of the Biodiversity Conservation Plan, and then also relates to the unintended consequences associated with the route. Lastly, we just want to compare the routes, the 2 routes, to look at how they stack up against each other, and then also the social implications of the relocations contingent upon the implementation of the routes, and then lastly, just what we call a people's plan, the work we've done together with the community in looking at a development framework that better accommodates major infrastructural interventions of this nature. Then in terms of why a midterm review, We think it's critical that the proposal we are putting on the table is considered. In the petition, we indicate that the Department of Transport and SANRAL is critical in this regard, but we must add that the Department of Public Work and Infrastructure South Africa, and Treasury are also entities who
Honourable
need
Chair,
to participate.
Honourable Chair, sorry to interrupt. Can Malcolm move the slides? The slides are not...
Yes, can I hear you? Hello?
Yeah, the slides are not moving. That's just my point.
Yeah, I wanted to come on that. Walter, can you assist them to move the slides? I don't know what is the problem there. I see the slides are not moving also, because I'm unable to follow also as to where they are.
Is there any movement now?
Not at all.
Okay. Let me just get some technical assistance.
Malcolm, I think you must share your screen from your computer then.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
I think you must share your screen with the presentation, then you can control the presentation.
I have shared my screen.
Ah, okay.
They're not seeing the screen moving.
Walter, can you assist?
I think we are trying to see how we can assist from this side. Just give us a minute.
Is it moving now?
That's the spirit.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Thanks very much.
Moving now, you can proceed.
Okay. So in terms of, just to recap quickly, I introduced the multidisciplinary technical team. I've spoken through the structure of the presentation, and I'm now dealing with why we would like to have a midterm review. And we feel that it's necessary for our proposal to be considered. But the petition mentions Department of Transport and SANRAL. We say it should also involve the Department of Works and Infrastructure South Africa, and the Treasury. And we feel it's important that our proposal is considered because we feel it is more sustainable and inclusive developmentally. We feel it will be less damaging to the very sensitive coastal environment and the concomitant effects on the economy. We feel that we will be more cost effective to construct, and we feel it will function not only to support national development objectives, but also better to serve regional and local economic objectives. There are 5 motivations we've included in the petition. The first being the urgent need for improving the road infrastructure in the Amadiba area. And we feel that this development is very critical in ensuring that that happens. And in terms of assisting with integrating community connectivity requirements without it losing its core value as a national highway. The second motivation relates to timing. The environmental and social impact research and studies were done about 20 years ago, and things have changed since. The environment has changed, policies have changed, there are new experiences, and we feel it's important that these are taken on board. Our third motivation relates to the issue of the community's rights and their voices being heard. And we feel this is particularly critical given the consequences of displacement, the loss of livelihood and cultural and heritage degradation, which will be significant and irreparable, we feel, if the alignment is not reconsidered. The fourth motivation relates to the need for meaningful engagement with the stakeholders. And we feel it's important in this case of the community for such consultation to comply with the relevant statutory and customary law under the Constitution, including the principle and process of free, prior, and informed community consent. And then the last motivation relates to the need for informed and coordinated development, which must be part of a spatial development planning process, which must also be an inclusive process. And we hope to demonstrate this by the People's Plan that we've been working on, which we will refer to later in the presentation. To contextualize the route, SANRAL's N2 Wild Coast project is a route that links East London to Durban over a distance of 610 kilometers. And the route from the Wild Coast component of the route stretches from East London to just short of Port Edward at the Mbuthuma River. And it's a distance of 410 kilometers. Most of the route, about 80% of the route, is along the existing alignments of the R61 and N2 routes, as you can see from the bigger map over there. But 112 kilometers of this route, and that's between Port St. John's and the Mbuthuma River near Port Edward, is described as a greenfields corridor, although in our interpretation, it is not strictly speaking a greenfields corridor because of the land being occupied. And we show a little square there near to Port Edward on the bigger map, and that is where we are disputing the alignment. It's a relatively small section of a particularly long route. What you see here is the inland route and SANRAL route compared, page 14. And we've shown the SANRAL route in grey towards the right-hand side. And you can see that it is very close to the coast, about 2 to 3 kilometers away from the coast, which is where most of your environmentally sensitive areas are. And then we propose, shown in purple and red, our inland alternative route, which is between 12 and 15 kilometers from the coast. The purple route is the existing R61, and the red route is largely aligned with an existing secondary road cutting through the middle of the Amadiba area. I would now like to hand over to Johan Jonas, the town and regional planning expert, who's got has extensive experience of doing spatial development frameworks in the area, just to talk about our concerns in terms of the impact on the environment and the livelihoods of people. Thank you, Johan.
Thank you, Malcolm. Honourable Chair and members of the committee, I'll try and be brief. I think it's important to just put it in context that the Amadiba area that we're focusing on here is part of the Wild Coast, which I think is very well known locally and internationally for its beauty, the dramatic landscape, the very important biodiversity elements, the rich cultural history of the people, and also the Wild Coast being the heartland of the Amampondo and Xhosa people. So if we can go to slide 16, the SANRAL route and then the proposed inland route, if we compare it from a biodiversity impact perspective, as you can see in the legend on the right, we reflect what is termed CBA and ESA areas. This is basically information from the Eastern Cape Biodiversity Conservation Plan that was prepared in 2019. It was gazetted in 2020. Now, CBA stands for Critical Biodiversity Area 1 and Critical Biodiversity Area 2. The ESA stands for Ecological Support Area. So the darkest green, the CBA1, are the most pristine, the most sensitive, and the CBA2, the lighter green, also considered critical biodiversity areas, and from then the sensitivities goes down to ecological support areas 1 and 2, to other, which is basically disturbed land or other types of vegetation. Now, also just to mention that the concentration of the CBA 1, 2, and 2 areas in ESA that you can see on the coastal side of this plan, it also coincides with the centre of endemism, or also referred to as the Wild Coast Biodiversity Priority Conservation Area. Now, as you can see, the blue route is the SANRAL alignment, which cuts really through the heart of the centre of endemism for the priority conservation area. Of that route, 41% traverses over CBA and CBA 1 and 2. As an alternative, the inland route is reflected by the red line. Only 6%, 6.5% of that route goes through CBA 1 and 2. So a more detailed breakdown in terms of the comparison, if we can go to slide 17. The inland route is slightly longer, 45 kilometres, of which 18 kilometres is actually following the existing R61 road that goes from coast up to Bizana. And just to emphasise that that is a very important link that needs to remain and maintain as a link up inland to Kokstad, Mount Aleph, Flagstaff, etc. So in terms of the summary of the route, we can see that the inland route is about 10.5 kilometres of existing gravel and 16 kilometres of greenfield, compared to SANRAL's route on the coast, which is 31 kilometres of greenfields. Now, in terms of the biodiversity sensitivity, the inland route only affects 1.6 kilometres of CBA1 and 400 metres of CBA2. In comparison with the SANRAL route, it's 5.62 and 7 kilometres respectively. So I think it's very clear to see that the coastal alignment has got a far greater impact on the environment. And as you will see as we go through this presentation, also what is expected is unintended consequences of this route. So if we can go to slide 18. Now, in numerous reports that preceded and form part of the planning of this route, especially in the northern section, there was concern raised about the unintended consequences of a route like this, a greenfield route, that opens up new areas. And one of these is the concern around the mushrooming of illegal settlements or informal settlements. The Eastern Seaboard Regional Spatial Plan emphasized in its recent study that land administration and land use control has basically collapsed. And therefore, there is very little sign of control over the sprawl of settlements along these major routes, where it clearly shows that rural people need good roads and they put a priority on positioning themselves along a good surfaced road, but that there's a lack of control. Just the slide 19 clearly shows, based on statistics of population growth between 1996 and 2016, the areas highlighted in the bright colour, basically all areas that in that period reflected a growth of 15% or more. Now, as you can see from the blue route running from parallel to the coastline, which is the N2, the current alignment, but you can also clearly see from the R61, the red lines, that these are all areas that are either in close proximity to an urban area, so it's peri-urban sprawl, or these are settlements along good roads. And I think that is one of the significant unintended consequences that is felt will have a far greater impact if this road had to be put through a sensitive area. There are also, in terms of slide 20, there are, it's not a unique scenario in terms of this area specifically only. In a meeting with Treasury, it was recognized that there are numerous other parts of South Africa where this is a common problem. this is just a slide to show just north of Komani, an area that between 2018 and 2023 has experienced a significant influx, as you can see on the right, the amount of structures that have gone up. The result is that 120 kilometer speed limit has been reduced to 80 kilometers. A very good other example is if you travel from Bishu, King Williamstown to Dimbaza, which is basically now grown together, and it's all ribbon development along the road. 8 new illegal access points in this example, and statistics prove that for every uncontrolled access along a route like this is that your accident occurrences will increase. It's been noted in reports that we have studied for this purpose. In terms of slide 21, another unintended consequence, if you can just move to 21, Malcolm, is the concern around illegal or uncontrolled sand mining with influx of households and the demand for building material, and the fact that the demand outstrips the supply is that, and it's already very, very evident in the area, is that sand mining and illegal sand mining, and mainly along rivers and streams, which is causing significant environmental damage. I think in the light of this, it's important just to point out that the Amadiba coastal area is a proclaimed marine protected area. And the concern around the estuaries in this area, which are all classified as pristine, and there are not many of these left in South Africa, and the impact that erosion and siltation will have on the estuaries and the sea life, because as we know, the estuaries are the nurseries of the marine animals, often spawning in estuaries. I think just another important point, if I can just stand still for a second, I think the fact of the concerns that we are raising in terms of the collapse of land administration and land use management in such areas, and the under-resourced authorities to control aspects like legal and illegal mining. It's been well documented. And the first report I want to highlight is a CSIR report in 2005, which was the Wild Coast Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan, which, and I quote, one of its objectives was to ensure that the alignment of the greenfield section of the N2 does not compromise the integrity of the proposed outer boundary of the greater Wonderland Conservation Area. Very clearly stated. Then in the specialist report specifically prepared by SANRAL for SANRAL or by consultants, it noted the observations of the Wild Coast Spatial Development Framework that there's densification of settlement on either side of transportation routes. And it says it emphasizes the likely scenario that if the N2 tollway is constructed, that this is only a matter of time before settlements start to emerge. And then lastly, in the EIA for the N2 itself, a 2009 report, where it raised concern about the cumulative impact of development, such as ribbon development, that could lead to significant habitat loss. And a conclusion in that report was, on the basis of the above, the proposed new road is considered not ecologically sustainable. But then it continued to say, but, and if you can control, it could be. And I think all signs are clear that that's not the case. If you can go to slide 22. Another concern in the arguments with SANRAL about the use of the R61 as part of the inland route was that a highly populated area called Lufulweni, that it's densely populated and the route is not ideal to follow through that. But what we're illustrating here is a section of the very same N2 alignment through Lusikisiki and the peri-urban area of Lusikisiki that is as built up. And I think we'll show just now that there are many examples of solutions that SANRAL has used to overcome such problems. The second image on the bottom of the slide just shows another section near Lusikisiki, where clearly the existing route that it follows on the R61 is not 120 kilometer speed. It's a very, very zigzag road. So I don't think the arguments that were held up on the Amadiba section is that it can achieve 120 kilometer speed limit. But on the bigger picture of the overall route, and I think Malcolm will expand on that. Just on the next slide, the friendly engineers that form part of the resource team to the ACs, to the Amadiba community, have basically proven that it's possible to get a 40-meter wide road reserve through Lugoweni, and that with limited, and it was at the time of the work being done, that it required 7 relocations and 22 internal movements in people's sites. So the disturbance is not significant, but that a 40-meter road reserve can be achieved. And if we look at the next slide, slide 24, is an example of the good work that SANRAL has done in other parts of the N2. And in this specific example, it is near Port Shepstone, where on the right top image, you can see a section of the road with a raised median, a safe separation between the direction of traffic, a barrier and a pavement, which can be fitted within a 30-meter road reserve boundary. So I think, and there are other examples where the alignment of the N2 have been upgraded, where similar interventions were used in other parts of the alignment. So thank you. I'll hand back to you, Malcolm.
Thanks, John. So this slide...
On 14 November.
This is slide 25.
Yes, Campbell.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Campbell, come in.
Yeah. So on slide 25, we give a bit more detail about the 2 routes. At the bottom, shown in a purple dotted line, is the SANRAL route. As you can see, cutting through the area showed in light green, which is the environmental sensitive area. And to facilitate that route, there are 6 bridges which have been introduced. They cross very deep gorges, so they're quite expensive interventions. The SANRAL route is 30 kilometers long, and of those 32 kilometers, 30.5 kilometers allow for speeds of up to 120 kilometers an hour. So obviously SANRAL has opted for the shortest route between the Matentu Bridge and the Ms River. And although they've gained in terms of time and length, it has had implications in terms of the environment. The alternative route that we show here in red, the first section of the route cuts through the township of Lugoweni, which is quite densely populated. And we propose, as Johan has indicated earlier, that for the 11 kilometers of that route, we have a 40-meter road reserve, and the speeds on that section is reduced to 80 kilometers an hour. For the rest of the route beyond Lugoweni, going up to Kwabula Junction and along the existing gravel road towards Matentu Bridge, we are able to achieve speeds of 120 kilometers an hour for 27 kilometers of that route, as opposed to the 30 kilometers that SANRAL is able to achieve. However, the route is much longer. It's a 45-kilometer route as opposed to the 32 kilometers of the SANRAL route, a difference of 13 kilometers. And what that does, from a time point of view, it adds approximately 15 minutes to the journey for vehicles, light vehicles. The intention with the route between Durban and East London is that this intervention would reduce travel time by between 1.5 and 3 hours for heavier vehicles. So our sense is that 15 minutes is not a major impact in terms of the time gain. But the most important thing we want to draw attention to on the slide is those little red crosses with circles on them. They represent public buildings within the Amadiba area. They include schools, clinics, police stations, etc. And you can see most of them are concentrated around the inland route as opposed to the SANRAL route. And we think that's a very, very important consideration when taking into account the alignment of the routes. The next slide, slide 26, what the SIP is proposing is that the Sanrail route be established as an important economic development corridor. This means that more of the sensitive land will have to be claimed to support that, but also given the connections of the local road network to the Sanrail route, it's likely that those developments, economic development opportunities will spread along those routes, obviously to the benefit of people in close proximity to the Sanrail route. If we compare this to the inland route shown in purple and red here, you can see the network of roads linked to that economic development SIP3 corridor is much more extensive. So the benefits extending beyond the route will have a greater impact. In addition, developing a corridor on that route is not going to have the same detrimental effect on the environment as would be the case with the Sanrail route. Then in terms of the social implications, I mean, having to relocate people, it's not only disruptive, but also affects the economy of the area. And if you compare the two routes, if we take the Sanrail route, our estimate is that the 83 homesteads that are directly affected, as opposed to the internal route, where 23 homesteads we've calculated to be affected. In terms of indirectly affected homesteads, with the Sanrail route, it is estimated that 51 homesteads will be affected, as opposed to 25 with the internal inland route. Then in terms of impact on arable land, Sanrail's coastal route is estimated to affect 102 arable fields, whereas in the case of the inland route, it is likely to affect 22 arable fields. Then lastly, I had mentioned that together with the community as a technical team, we have advanced quite far with work on what we call the Amadiba Tribal Authority Spatial Framework, or the People's Plan. In the petition, we've referred to a bottom-up approach which draws largely on community consultation, and this is what we've applied in this particular instance. And what it has shown very clearly for us, if you look at the red route, which is the inland route which goes through the Amadiba area, you can see very clearly that it has the ability to support local economic development, and it avoids the adverse social and environmental impacts that can be precipitated by the Sanrail route. We have checked local and regional spatial plans, and we were pleased that it's very much compatible with the draft precinct plan for the Willie Mandela municipality, which is currently underway, as well as that of the 2023 Eastern Seaboard Regional Spatial Development Framework, as per SPLUMA, which Johan has referred to in his presentation as well. So that's slide 29. Slide 30 is just a summary or comparative summary of the two routes. I'm not going to go through that, but you're free to reference that in your deliberations. Thank you very much, Chair.
Yes, Campbell, thanks very much. Are you done now?
I'm done. We're done, yeah.
Oh, thanks very much. I think now, as I explained, now that we have formally tabled, I'll allow members to ask if they have any questions. We are not to discuss anything. We are just going to, maybe for them to understand if there is anything that they may need to understand from my side, I'm fine because I read your document and I know what must happen from here. And like I articulated what must happen, but I wouldn't be dictatorial and not allow members to raise their hand if they want to say something. Honorable members?
Chair?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, no, thanks, Chair. I think when you opened the meeting, you had guided correctly, Chair. We had received the documents and we appreciate the presentation. I think from our side now is to just follow the queue in terms of what you had guided. It will give us a holistic picture for us then to sit with Sandral at a particular date. Let's get the responses from Sandral into the presentation. We get the view of the minister, and then as a committee, then we can develop a program in terms of how then we are going to address these issues. But I think, Chair, in terms of your opening and how we've conducted it now, I think we are guided in that area, and I would agree so that when we engage in it, we just don't have the presentation from the petition side, but we also have a response from Sandral, and then in that way, we'll be able to engage comprehensively on the report. Thanks, Chair.
No, thanks very much. Thanks very much, Honorable Blosser, for that intervention. Colleagues, I hope we are taking cue from what Honorable Blosser is saying, and therefore I'm going to now, Campbell and Mr. Campbell and the team, your petition is now formally launched and tabled before us. We have accepted it, we have noted it. We are going to process it through the necessary parliamentary process. And from my side, you will then be able to hear from us soon, and we must extend up our word of appreciation from the Sandral team. I'm told they are here, they are fully connected, they are with us here, they've heard the petition, they'll deal with it, and at the right time we'll invite them to come and respond to it together with the minister. With these few words, colleagues, words of appreciation, I want to take this moment to appreciate all of you and thank you very much. Honorable Mr. Campbell and the team, do not think that you presented and we did not listen to you. This is the formal process, is the kickstarting of a process.
So, assuming...
Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much. The meeting is officially closed.
Thank you, Chair.